every now and then you might run into this case where you've got a function you're using all over your application and you want to have some kind of general function for it where you don't have to call it from a class or from a namespace. And we can set that up really easily with Composer. I'm going to create a file in a bootstrap directory and call it helpers.php. And then over in our composer.json, I'm going to come over to our autoload section, and I'm going to create a new entry called files. That's going to be an array that points directly at that bootstrap / helpers.php. If I now come and run composer dump autoload, that should essentially update the autoloader to now detect this new file that we've pointed it at. So if I come into, let's say here, and I call dd foo, and then let's say I run like artisan test, that's probably going to be autoloading this file, and it's failing with foo. So just as we expect. So now we've got a file here that is loaded, and we can define our own functions in. For example, you could have a function that returns a user model, and that will be essentially something like that. Now, whether or not you like that function itself, you can add whatever you want in here, and it's going to be loaded every time the application boots, and you're going to have a place to put all of your helper functions. Now, historically, a lot of people put a helper file like this inside the app directory, but there's a reason I don't like that, and I prefer the bootstrap, and that's because the app directory is a PSR4 autoloading directory. So every file inside here should have its namespace correspond with its path. And in a helpers file, when you've just got functions and no namespace, that's not the case. So you can do this, set up a helpers file, and then even if you don't need it right now, you've got a place to put functions that you can then use throughout your application later on.